Hey everybody, this is Captain Yeet here for you, celebrating the 15th anniversary of Kung Fu Panda 2. So let's get into it. I love the Kung Fu Panda franchise. I remember seeing the first one on DVD and I just couldn't wait for the second one. The first time I ever saw anything Kung Fu Panda 2, I was at my grandma's house and I specifically remember the TV. I turned on the TV. I was gonna say the TV just turned on, but I turned on the TV and there was a commercial for it. I don't remember specifically what happened in the commercial besides from Poe. He got really close to the TV screen and you can only see his eyes. And for maybe like 15, 20 seconds, he wasn't doing anything. He didn't blink, he didn't move. He was looking at the TV screen just on his eyes. I thought the TV broke. I was really confused, like, what is going on? Like, he's not moving or anything. But then eventually he said something. I don't remember what he said. And the logo popped up for Kung Fu Panda 2. Boy, I was excited. Like I said, I loved the first one. I couldn't wait to see the second one. I did see the second one in the movie theaters. I can't specifically remember who I saw it with. I know it wasn't with my mom or any of my sisters, but I did see it in the movie theaters. I only ever saw Kung Fu Panda 2 and 3 in the theaters. I never saw 1 or 4 in the theaters. There are rumors that a fifth one might be coming out maybe in the next few years, so I'm gonna try to make sure definitely I see the fifth one in theaters. But man, I was so excited for 2. It's funny because I knew the 15th anniversary was coming up soon, so I needed to rewatch the movie. And a few days ago, my friend like, hey, you want to stream a movie in Discord? Let's watch Kung Fu Panda 2. I was like, that's perfect. I need to rewatch this movie. That is perfect. Let's watch the movie in Discord. And so we did that. So before we get into any plot details or talking about the first thing I want to talk about with the movie in general is Shen, the bad guy of the movie. Before we get into that, I just want to get this off my chest before I forget it. But I love how everybody has warmed up to Poe now because obviously I know that at the end of Kung Fu Panda 1, also there was that TV show on Nickelodeon between 1 and 2 where everybody was warmed up to Poe. But still, they didn't really warm up to Poe like being nice to him, specifically like Tigress or Sifu, until the very end of the first movie. And then we get into 2. Well, I guess it's a TV show canon. I don't think so, right? I mean, maybe I don't know. I never really thought about it, but even if the TV show is canon, at least movie wise, we didn't really get to see that. And in this movie, everybody had warmed up the Poe. They're really nice, really funny, joking around with him, especially like with Tigress. That was all mean and green to him. Like I said, he did warm up to him at the very end of the movie. But in the very beginning of the movie, after the flashback with Sin, you see her joking around with the rest of the Furious Five, watching Poe eat dumplings, and she's joking around too. And then all the Furious Five and Poe have a bunch of combo moves they can do. Now they were doing combo moves in the first movie, but specifically just with the Furious Five. But Poe's integrated with them. The way you see Viper, like, slithering on Poe's arm when they were fighting in the music village, coming off of it. Like, they have a bunch of different moves they could do with Poe. Even Poe knows some different moves with other people. Like, he specifically calls Crane out to do some stuff, Monkey. There was like two specific moves he called out Tigers to do, and they were doing combos on the Wolves and the Music Village and also in Gangman City. I know that sounds simple, and you're like, of course, Captain Yi, but still, you get what I'm saying? Like, they didn't get to really see that a lot in the first movie because they didn't really like him until the end. And then now we see it throughout the whole movie, even when everybody thought Poe died, obviously everybody was sad, but specifically Tigress. Like, she was literally about to cry when she was chained up on the boat with Shen and the rest of the wolves, or even in the I know I'm just saying random stuff now, but I just want to get off my chest before I forget. But I love that little what's the word I guess to use? I guess little callback throughout the movie to when they were going to Gangmeng City. I was telling my friend this when we were watching it in Discord. I said it's kind of wild. They have to walk all the way there. I know there aren't like cars and stuff made just yet, but still walking from the Valley of Peace all the way to Gangmeng City. I mean, that was such a far way. They had to walk the whole way. I mean, besides from the little boat ride we saw, they were walking mountains and deserts for days. Like, I know that walk back is gonna suck. The walk back to Valley of Peace. Oh my goodness, I know it's gonna suck, Poe. But anyway, the little thing I liked was when they were on the boat and Poe and Tigress were training, and Tigress' arms were like super strong because he was punching ironwood trees. And Poe said that she's really hardcore. You don't feel anything like emotions, and you could tell that kind of not hurt Tigress, but you can tell that it didn't really sit well with Tigress because Poe thinks that she doesn't have any emotions because she's Tigress. And then eventually, after the whole capture Sen plan went awry and they went back to the prison, and Poe's like, look, I know you wouldn't understand my emotions, what I'm feeling because you're hardcore. And Tigress ran up to him and hugged him really tight. That was really, I like that really callback. She was like, of course I understand emotions and stuff, but I can't watch my friend die. Oh, that sweet moment after he blew up the boat when they were fighting at the end of the movie, and Poe swam over the tigress and held her hand to make sure she was okay. Like little moments like that, I love the moments. But sorry, let me get into the big bad guy of the movie, Shen. I just want to get those things off my chest before I get into other stuff and I completely forget. I know I was gonna completely forget about that those little tiny things. Well, Shen, the new big bad of the movie, he's a pretty good big bad. He's not like a misunderstood villain or a redeemable one. Because they didn't like try to redeem him, but they tried to give him some chances to opt out or to change his ways, specifically the soothsayer, or I guess that just means fortune teller. But she tries to give him a few ways to not go down the path that he's going on, but he's just too strong go on his beliefs, so he's just gonna keep on going. So he can't really be redeemed. He can't really, and he's not like misunderstood. Because in the very beginning, when we get his backstory, he comes from a long line of royal peacocks. They're like the royalty of Gongman City, and his family made fireworks. I didn't realize this until now, but Sen has to be like mad old, right? Because when he was killing all the pandas in the beginning, he looked like a grown man, at least in his 20s or something, and Poe was a baby. He doesn't look that much older when we see him. So actually, yeah, actually, let me look up how old Shen is. I never really thought about that as a kid, or even now until I was rewatching the movie. I was like, whoa, he was a grown man when Poe was a baby, and obviously he's still alive now when Poe fights him. So I don't know how old he is. Okay, I looked it up. It said that he's around like 40 to 50. That's wild. That is crazy. He's around 40 or 50. I would have never guessed that. I was thinking maybe 30, maybe late 30s. Now, I was thinking around almost 50. But anyway, he comes from a long line of royal peacocks. His family was able to make fireworks for the first time in this universe, but he saw dark forces within the fireworks. They have a soothsayer slash a fortune teller. When Poe first met her, that was funny. Oh, you're a girl? Oh, you have a beard. That's false advertising. But anyway, after that, she predicts that if Sen keeps going down this dark path, he is going to get beaten by a opponent of black and white, obviously meaning a panda. I love how whenever he achieves inner peace at the end of the movie, and he starts grabbing the cannons and like throwing them. Well, not cannons, the cannonballs, and sorry, like toss them to the side, and he grabs that last one and spins around and turns into the yin and yang. Come on, come on, that is dope. But sorry, I keep getting sidetracked talking about stuff in the movie. But when he hears this, when he's like sneaking in on the conversation, he goes to the panda village that's off to the side of Gungming City and kills all the pandas. Obviously, as we know, Poe is still alive, so he didn't get to kill Poe because his mom was able to save him. Also, at the very end of the movie, he didn't kill all the pandas because the panda village is still alive and well, like way, way off the coast of Gungming City to where nobody can find them. It's a hidden panda village, but still, there's still a lot of pandas left, which was wild, man. I wish I could see my face as a kid when I saw that after credit scene when the pandas were still alive and Poe's dad specifically. Man, Kung Fu Panda 3. I looked that up all the time. I could not wait for this. So after he killed all the pandas, Sen went back to his family thinking they were going to be proud of him. I don't know why he thought that. Like, what? They were already concerned enough because he was looking at the fireworks as evil. Why would they get proud of him? Because he just killed like a whole species. Like, what? Obviously, they're not gonna be proud of him, so they exiled him from the kingdom. And eventually, like 20 plus years later, he came back with his weapon that could combine for fireworks and cannon fire and stuff. And I never really thought about this either until now when I was talking to my friend. Nobody really knew what this thing was. They only specifically call it the weapon. They don't specifically call it like a specific name. They just call it a weapon. And that surprised near the middle of the movie when he had more than just one. Because he's only had the one with him all the time. But when he went over to the building off to the side, he had like six more. Yo, that was crazy. But he made the weapon. He doesn't have a specific name, but I'm guessing this is like the very first canon ever made in existence in this series or in this universe, and this is the very first shooting weapon. Because throughout the trailers and throughout the movie, they were hyping this up to where this cannon or this weapon can take out Kung Fu for good. Like this is going to be the end of Kung Fu, which is kind of wild for the second movie to do something like that. This franchise is heavily based in Kung Fu Panda. You would think this would be like a third or final movie. Like this is the end. You get what I'm saying? Like this is the end of Kung Fu. But no, it's the second movie. But they were hyping us up the way they can take out Kung Fu. And we've seen weapons before in this franchise, plenty of weapons. but I guess we never actually seen like a shooting type of weapon, or specifically in this case, a cannon. And it's not like it's not like anything special. It's like it's just a cannon. I mean, a cannon is powerful, obviously, especially if it hits somebody, you're going to die. But it's not anything really special. It gonna look special because he puts fireworks inside of it, so it's like the sparkle effect. It looks really crazy. You know what I'm saying though, but I guess it's like the very first shooting weapon because when he killed Master Rhino, yeah, he didn't know what it was. That's why he like stood his ground to try to fight it, and it killed him. It's kind of wild that they like kept his hammer thing stuck in the ground and patting it. Remember the wolf patted? I'm like, oh, that is sick. And when Shannon first brought it out, he goes, "This is your parting gift. Part of you over here, part of you over there, part of you way over there." That's kind of wild. That's kind of wild to say in a kids movie. And as a kid, I thought I do like how since he's a peacock, his hands are feathers, and he uses blades with metal all the time. Like that's his big thing with metal and blades. So he hides like little blades within his feathers, like right below him, so you can't really see him. That's really cool. I thought he replaced his feet with metal as a kid, but when I was rewatching the movie a few days ago with my friend, if you look really closely, you can kind of see his regular feet underneath his metal feet. So it's sort of like I guess like a shoe, or maybe he sort of just overlaid the metal on top of his regular feet. But you have to look really closely in some specific scenes. Other than that, it does kind of look like he just replaced his whole foot with metal, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, the soothsayer every now and again will tell Sin to not go down this path. You could change it. Your parents did love you, but you were doing evil stuff. That's why they had to banish you. Like, trying to talk to him and reason with him. But no, he was like stuck in his ways. He kept wanting to go with the way that he was going. So there wasn't really any redeeming him, and he wasn't like he was misunderstood. He was evil after as soon as he saw something beautiful and fireworks, he found something evil. And then when they didn't tell him, he snuck in the conversation, but when they were trying to tell him that you're going to get beaten by someone if you keep going on the dark path, okay then. I'm just gonna go kill all the pandas, and that kind of just sealed his fate by doing that. He could have chose a different fate for himself if he didn't do that, but no, he just sealed it by trying to kill all the pandas, and Poe had to come back. I was a little confused throughout the movie of why didn't he tell Poe that he killed all the pandas? Because he seemed really happy that he did that. He doesn't really care who he tells, and it's kind of sad that Sen and the Wolf of the Eye Patch are probably specifically the ones that killed his mom. Because they were like the closest to his mom when she ran away when she was like, distracting them so they wouldn't find Poe. So they're probably the ones that specifically killed his mom, which is so sad. And I don't know if this was supposed to be a detail that they did on purpose or just a coincidence. But remember in the beginning, well not in the beginning, but in the flashback with Poe, when Ping first found him, he had a bunch of black smudges on his body and the stomach, and then whenever Poe stands up to Ping, I mean, stands up to Ping, sorry. Whenever Poe stands up to Shin at the end of the movie, when he finds inner peace and he's able to grab the cannonballs and like, deflect them, he looked the exact same way. Whenever Sin, tries to kill him when he was a baby, he has the black smudges on his body. And then whenever he tries to kill him here at the very end of the movie, he has the black smudges on his belly, on his face. Like it looks basically the same. I don't know if it's like I didn't like pause it and look at side to side if the smudges on the exact same place, but I didn't notice specifically a smudge on his belly and face. He has the same thing on his belly and face as an adult. I'm like, oh, that is tough. That is nice. But like I'm saying, I don't know why Sam didn't just tell him that he's the one that killed his parents and killed this old village because Poe didn't know that until Oh, and her going to the old panda village and Poe going there too. That was nice. But yeah, but he didn't tell him that. He seemed really happy and proud that he did that. So why didn't he tell Poe? Now I was thinking after the movie, maybe he didn't want Poe to achieve inner peace, and I guess that is kind of hinted to in the end when he's talking to Poe, like how did you find peace? But it doesn't really seem like he knows. I mean, he doesn't know kung fu, so I guess he would know inner peace. But okay, so the only thing that really confuses me is if because inner peace is the thing that defeated Shen with his cannon, right? So you would say, oh, Shen probably knows that the only thing that could beat his cannon is inner peace kung fu, but I don't know. It's like if he did know that, it would have been easier if he would have said that or hinted to. I guess you could say, well, it was hinted to because he said, "How did you find peace?" And he wasn't surprised he was able to catch. I mean, he was surprised he was able to catch the cannonballs, but And, like, what if Master Secret was there? Master Secret was in a piece. I know, I guess specifically he was surprised Poe was able to find it because he killed everybody, but still, any other kung fu master that's like, old enough could know in a piece and could catch the cannonballs. So I don't know. I guess that's the only thing that kind of messed me up. I was kind of wild, and I was like, I know the soothsayer said it, and I was thinking it too. That whenever he got back into Gongming City, remember he found his father's throne and he threw it out. I was like, what? That is like, sacred. That's your throne, and that's probably. I mean, I know that was his father's throne, but that was probably his grandfather's throne. It's great, like all the generations, and he just threw it out and broke it. Then whenever Poe tried to catch him, and he couldn't because he every time he saw that symbol, he got freaked out and he had all those other cannons shooting down the palace. I was thinking it, and even the soothsayer said, like, that was your family's throne, not throne, but that was your family's palace. That's the word. So I just said the word too. I forgot it in 2 seconds. But that was your family's palace for generations, and you just destroyed it just trying to kill Pope. Who matters? I mean, who cares? Oh, that's kind of wild. That's kind of wild to me. I'm not gonna lie. He's a really cool scene I want though. Sorry, I'm 16 minutes in and I haven't even saw the really cool scene. But when Poe was able to find inner peace and he threw the cannonball back, I mean, come on, that was pretty dope. That was pretty cool. I love that scene. Yeah, but him just doing that, I mean, that is sick. And then whenever he was fighting Poe and he just let the cannon, well, not the cannon, yeah, let the cannon just fall on him and kill him. I was like, geez, that is tough. That is sad. Finding inner peace, the new sort of kung fu thing in this movie is really cool. I loved how when Poe was able to find inner peace, letting his memories flow in the Panda village. He was able to catch the raindrop just like Master Sifu in the cave. It was so funny when Poe was asking Master Sifu, like, "How do you gain inner peace?" He goes, "Inner peace? Well, some people decide to live in a cave for around 50 years with no food or no water, and Poe's stomach's on the ground. Or, like, is there another thing I could do? I don't know about that one." He goes, "Well, some people try, well, not try, but another way to find the peace is going through a lot of turmoil or strife or trauma. And his trauma was Poe becoming Dragon Warrior. I don't know, it was supposed to be a little funny gag. Would have been kind of more better if he would have said, his trauma or grief was Tai Lung. That would have been way. I know it was supposed to be a joke, but that would have been tough and way better if he was like, my trauma and grief was seeing Tai Lung again. He was still on the way he was, or whenever Tai Lung first turned evil. Well, nah, I guess that wouldn't make sense because if it was when he first turned evil, he would have been had inner peace. But you get what I'm saying? Like, he would have brought up something with Tai Lung. Okay, yeah, that would have been good. But yes, it's whatever. I mean, the movie's out now. It's whatever. Also, another tough scene I thought they should have changed the wording to is whenever they were chasing the wolf with the eye patch throughout the city. I love the little Pac-Man little reference. When they were inside the. I know I've seen them before in so many movies. I don't know what you call it though. The lion dragon. Or the costume the Furious Five and Poe was wearing to go through the city and eat the people. I mean, eat the eat the wolves like the little Pac-Man section. That was funny. But I love the fight throughout the not the fight, the chase scene with the wolf with the eye packs where they were on the little, I don't know what you call it, but the horse or whatever drives it and the wheel, and Tigress was jumping up and hit Poe on the back and he went flying and he grabbed the wolf and he slammed him on the ground. He should have died from that. But the wolf said, when you mess with the wolf, you get the fangs. And he punched him in the stomach. I was like, oh, it would have been so much tougher. He would have said, you mess with the wolf, you get the pack. And remember, because all the wolves popped up behind him, he had so many wolves. I mean, he had like 100 plus wolves. It was ridiculous. Then he had gorillas. And another thing, when the Furious Five was going to blow up the what's it called, the factory making all the cannons, they saw Poe and decided to put out all the firework bombs they had in there. I was like, why are they doing that? They can do both. I mean, Poe was decently close to where they can just yell at Poe, "Hey, hurry up and get out, so you don't get blown up. Cause we better blow it up." So you two birds with one stone. But no, I guess not. Here's the other shot of Poe shooting. I mean, throwing it. Cause I had to move it away because I was sewing too much. But here's the other shot of Poe throwing the cannonball. I mean, come on. That was pretty dope. I loved it, man. I loved it. Um, Masters was that in the same movie? Is that the same movie? I think it is. There was an animated short with Masters Croc, Ox, and Rhino when they were younger. They met Master Oogway. They what is it called? They had to beat the Wu sisters, those three tigers. And I never played the game for Kung Fu Panda 2. I know I did play Kung Fu Panda 1. Or I guess there's no one, but you get what I'm saying. There was a game for Kung Fu Panda 1 on the 360. I did play and beat that game. Well, no, I never beat it actually. I could never get past the long fight. But I did play that game. I never played Kung Fu Panda 3 or 2, the game on the 360 or the Xbox One eventually. I never played those, which kind of sucks. I don't know the differences in there. I know the Wu Sisters was in the Kung Fu Panda 1, but it was the animation with the Ox, Croc, and Rhino. Is that canon? Like, is that canon? Because, these obviously the same characters. I don't know if that's canon or not. I guess it's like 50-50. I guess it's 50-50 if it's canon or not. Okay, I'm back. The little fight they had inside of the prison with not Doctor, with Master Ox and Croc was pretty cool when they when they kept fighting with the door and spinning it around and doing that stuff. And I kind of understand what they were trying to say. That obviously we go after Sin, if we lose, if they catch us, he's gonna turn the weapon on the city. He's gonna kill innocent lives. I do understand that, but the way they were saying it kind of just makes it sound like they weren't really saying it because of the civilians and stuff. They were really just saying that because they were scared because after Doctor, not I said Doctor again, after Master Rhino died, they were kind of scared about that. It wasn't. I mean, yes, what they said was true, but you get what I'm saying. It wasn't really seeming like they were scared because of that. When they tried to give the wolf with the eye pack sort of a quote unquote redemption. I was like, what? No, he killed Poe's mom. 'Cause remember at the end of the movie when they made the blockade with the boats, Poe and crew was getting closer and closer to Sin, and he told the wolf to, to rain fire. Not to rain fire, but to set off the cannon. He said, we can't. Our own men are down there fighting. We're gonna kill them. I don't care. Rain fire. No. No. Like what? Yo, dog, what? You were just killing people. No, no, I really don't care about you, dog. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. This Joker was evil. This Joker was evil. I don't know why you're trying to make it seem like he was cool or anything like that. When Crane's wing got broken during the palace getting fell down, that was an intense scene as a kid. But when it broke, I don't know how it got fixed, but between uh, I don't know. Like I'm gonna say a couple hours. I don't know how it was just randomly fixed out of nowhere. And what's the time frame between Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2? I'm assuming a couple months to maybe a year or two. I don't really know the time frame. I don't know if that Nickelodeon show is canon or not. I'm gonna say like 50-50 maybe. I don't know. I don't know if it's short. But I'm gonna say like 50-50 maybe. Here's another really cool shot where we see like everybody, and I mean everybody jump in to help Poe fight. Let me turn it back around so because I'm showing it for too long. Actually, I forgot the one shot when it's like everybody. Let me get that really quickly. Is there anything else I want to bring up? I'm trying to remember. Oh, when Doctor when Master's Croc and Ock threw Poe to the side and Tigress caught him and flipped him around really easily. Did you see that? That was awesome. Poe is funny. He said, I feel the kung fu tingle up my spine. Sorry, Poe. That's just me. It was vibrating on his back. That was so dope. But yeah, his wings got broken out of nowhere. Oh, he said, Monkey, if there's any trouble, sound like give us a signal. Monkey goes, oh yeah, I'll just do a caca caca like Crane does. When have I ever done that? And he did that in the movie when he was like Wings of Fury. Caca! Like, okay. Like, yeah, you never do that. All right, buddy. That was funny. Um, what's another thing in the movie? I'm trying to remember. I did like the music little village because while they were fighting, they were making music while they were fighting, which is pretty dope. I'm trying to remember anything else. That might be about it for the movie, honestly. 24 minutes, that's not bad. I don't want to make it too long because honestly, I'm kind of tired. I just got back from out of town. So, I'm really tired right now. But I think that's about it. So I'm gonna pause it one last time to show one last really cool shot of the Furious Five plus Poe, and I guess we'll be done. Oh no, actually, I guess I do want to talk about Ping. I did feel bad for Ping. Obviously, he was getting really nervous about Poe asking about his past. That was a really sad scene when Poe said, "Well, who am I? You're my son." And Poe didn't say nothing. He was like really nervous. I'm like, what? I mean, I understand Poe's going through a lot of emotion right now, finding out He said, Tigers, I just found out my dad isn't really my dad. Your dad, the goose? Yeah. That must be really traumatizing. Tigers is funny. But anyway. But yeah, what is Poe and Tiger's ship name? I'm a Poe and Tiger's guy. When that stuff was happening in Kung Fu Panda 3 with that one panda girl, boy, I was getting so upset. I'm like, what? It's Poe and Tigers, man. Like, I was getting so mad about that. But anyway, yeah, but yeah, the Poe and his dad so really sad. That was a funny scene when I mean that was a sweet scene when Poe, his dad, Mr. Ping, found him in a radish basket. And whenever he came back to his dad at the end of the movie, he had a bunch of radishes. He was like, I'm your son. That was really sweet. Also, when what was it? Dang it! I just remembered this moment in my head too. When he was talking. Oh, it was funny because his dad he knows how to make a profit. Because in the beginning of the movie, well, not the beginning, but whenever Poe went to go see his dad about the business and stuff that he had of his mom, remember he had Dragon Warrior mercs all over the place. I mean, he was like Dragon Warrior specials, Dragon Warrior this and that. He had Poe's mop on the wall. Like, he know how to make a profit. I mean, we knew that from the first movie, but that boy was milking it. He was milking Poe with his son. Then in the end of the movie, he was also doing that too. Like that was funny. I mean, it wasn't like he was. What's the word? What's the word? Exploiting. Yeah, it wasn't like he was exploiting him because it wasn't like he was making Poe do stuff at the thing. He was just showing poses and stuff off. But still, that was really funny. He has one really cool fighting shot with Tigress and the rest of the people there. That was really cool. But okay, now I think it should be it. So let me pause it one last time to get a really cool shot of them. Oh, okay, I'm back. Remember when Crane broke his wing and Tiger says she can't watch her friend die. That's why she told Poe to stay behind. And Crane was like, "Hey, maybe you won't let another one of your friends die. My wing is broken. Suck it up." And she's back. Or Mantis. Remember Mantis? They put the Mantis doll inside the cage instead of having Mantis in there too when they surrendered. I thought that was funny. And if you look closely, you can see as soon as they put Mantis inside the cage, you see him sort of just bobble side to side like a fake doll. So that was a cool little detail. You have to like slow it down though. I don't really see the Pacific scene when he jumped up the way, but that was really cool too. I did like that. They had a few gorillas under their command, and obviously they were able to somewhat contend with the gorillas. It was funny when Poe couldn't go up all the flights of stairs, so they had the gorilla dude carry him. He goes, "Well, thanks for doing that, guys. I kind of threw up a little on flight 4. You might want to clean that up." Oh my goodness, that was funny. Then when Poe thought he destroyed the weapon was a tiny little thing, and I kept thinking to myself, this cannon is really powerful. Obviously, it's a cannon, but if there's enough kung fu people, they could just jump him and not get shot with it. Obviously, he has like a ton more we didn't know of. And when it was just like the one cannon we knew of, I'm like, why don't they just jump him? Like, what? Like, they just easily jump this guy and just take out the cannon. But he had like 20 more, so yeah, I guess you can't really do that. You can't really do that at all. And okay, I think that's about it. I do want to actually before I saw the really cool team shot of the Furious Five and Poe, I gotta show, and I mean I gotta show when Tigress caught Poe and flipped him around. I mean that was funny. That was so funny. I mean it's a panda. See how big Poe is. I mean this joker just got flung and he grabbed him so easily. Oh, I found it. I found it. Here we go. And Master, sorry about that. Master Sifu, he got there pretty quick, didn't he? He got there in like less than a day. It took them days to get there. I mean, I know he's like really quick, but still, that is ridiculous how quickly he got there. Isn't that kind of wild? I mean, I know he sort of felt Paul like die in the moment whenever he got hit with the cannonballs. Obviously, he'll like have some motivation to like really book it there, but still, he got there really quick. I mean, that Joker was zooming, boy. That was really funny. But yeah, the last shot I saw was whenever they were fighting inside that little village for music. And that was a really cool little scene, especially when Tigress and Poe. Yeah, actually, also the Tigress and Poe stuff. But that's just about everything with Kung Fu Panda 2. But 50 to 30 years old, that's kind of crazy. Oh, Here it is right here. I didn't even realize this. Yeah, the combo move with Tigress and Poe whenever they're fighting together in the village. I mean, come on. Here we go. Whenever they're fighting together, doing the combos and stuff. I mean, that was dope. That was really cool. But I guess I ended on my last shot. I'm sorry, I can't really. I'm sorry. I know it sounds like I'm rambling, and I am. Just trying to think of anything else because I don't really want to forget anything. But I can't remember too much more. I did watch the movie a few days ago. Uh, no, nothing. Oh, nothing really. But okay, here's the last shout out, so then we'll be done. Bye. Oh, let me put it right here. With the Furious Five plus Poe, the Dragon Warrior.